Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The bold and the beautiful spoilers and updates reveal Luna Nozowa seems to have missed the point after her brief stint in jail. She attempted to manipulate the notion of temporary insanity with Poppy Nozowa, trying to persuade her mother that she was still the innocent daughter she once was. The sly grin on Luna's face revealed an entirely different narrative behind closed doors, her smirk revealing her true self. After receiving news about Poppy's breakup with Bill Spencer, Don Diamond, it was clear that she was already secretly plotting her next move towards him. Even though Bill had just torched the letter Luna had sent him, it was evident that at least a part of him was touched by her words. While Bill may be attempting to move on from his relationship with Luna, it's going to be a tougher journey than he anticipates. According to upcoming spoilers, Luna plans to send Bill another letter, and this time, her message might hit a different note now that she's aware of Bill's newfound single status. It's not hard to envision Luna slipping in hints within that letter about the struggles she faces while incarcerated and her concerns for her own safety. She might play the part of someone in peril as part of an elaborate new plot, counting on her scared little girl act to bring Bill running. Given our understanding of Luna, it wouldn't shock us if she stirs up trouble with a fellow inmate or two, just enough for her con to be believable. Maybe she could goad someone into an assault, ensuring she ends up hurt enough to be sent to the hospital, perhaps even form an escape plan from there. This would undoubtedly aid her in portraying herself as the tragic victim of her circumstances, even though she would have brought it all on herself. Bill could decide to visit Luna if she ends up in the hospital, feeling a wave of sympathy for her when he sees her in such a vulnerable state. This could be the moment when Luna pleads with Bill face to face, urging him to help her escape her perilous circumstances. She might appeal to his emotions, convincing him that her survival hinges on his action. With of high-powered lawyers and influential judges at his disposal, Bill has the means to assist Luna. If he truly wants to help her avoid serious consequences, or at least secure her transfer to a mental health facility, he has the power to do so. It seems that her talk of temporary insanity might be setting the stage for a new chapter in her life, suggesting that brighter days could be ahead for Luna. Bill Spencer was used to standing in the center of a storm. He'd faced down powerful enemies, tumultuous love affairs, and family betrayal. But as he stood in the sterile hallway of Los Angeles Memorial Hospital, a new feeling gripped him: helplessness. He ran his hand through his hair, attempting to tame the panic building inside. His mind churned with questions, none of which he had answers to. How did this happen? How did it get so out of control? He clenched his fists, anger flooding his chest. He had known Luna only for a few short months, yet the weight of her suffering felt as though it had become his own. "Bill," a voice called from down the hall. Turning, Bill spotted Ridge Forrester. Ridge had an uncanny way of showing up at the most inconvenient times. "What are you doing here, Ridge?" Bill barked, his eyes flaring. Ridge held up his hands defensively. "Relax, Bill. I heard what happened, and I thought you might want some support." Bill scoffed. "I don't need support from you, Ridge." Ridge didn't back down. "This isn't about you or me, Bill. It's about Luna. Whatever happened in that prison, it's left her fighting for her life. Don't you think she deserves a little solidarity?" Bill's jaw tightened. Luna was more than a damsel in distress to him. She was a mystery wrapped in vulnerability, and despite his better judgment, he had let himself care for her. And now, this terrible incident had forced him to confront feelings he'd rather keep buried. As they stood in silence, the sterile stillness was shattered by the shrill beep of the heart monitor down the hall. Bill felt his pulse quicken. "Is she stable?" Ridge looked away, his gaze softening. "The doctors are doing everything they can, but she's still critical. If she makes it through the night, maybe." The words hung in the air. Maybe. Bill didn't want maybes. He wanted answers. He wanted certainty. He wanted Luna safe, awake, and by his side. The hospital doors swung open, and Katie walked in. Her face was lined with worry as she glanced between Ridge and Bill. "I came as soon as I heard," she said, her voice soft and soothing. Bill nodded, grateful for her presence. Katie and Bill had history. They shared a son, but their connection ran deeper than co-parenting. She could see through him, even when he tried to hide behind his stoic demeanor. She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Bill, I know you. I know you're hurting. But whatever happened with Luna, it's not your fault." Bill's voice was low, almost a growl. "She shouldn't have been in that prison, Katie. I should have protected her. She trusted me, and I failed her." Katie shook her head. "She's stronger than you think. Don't let guilt cloud your judgment, Bill. Luna wouldn't want that." Despite her reassurance, guilt gnawed at him. Bill had always been a man of action, a man who made things happen. But here he was helpless, forced to sit and wait, a powerless witness to someone else's suffering. Bill couldn't stay in that waiting room. He needed to see her. Ignoring the doctor's instructions to keep his distance, he pushed open the door to Luna's room. There she was, lying pale and fragile against the stark white sheets. Tubes ran from her arms, and a faint beeping indicated that her heart was still fighting, still beating. She was young, vibrant, and so full of life. But now she looked as though a gust of wind could break her. He took a seat beside her bed, watching her chest rise and fall. It was the only sign that life still lingered in her body. "Luna," he whispered, his voice barely audible. He reached for her hand, cold and limp under his touch. "I don't know if you can hear me, but I need you to fight. I need you to stay, because I can't lose you." As the words escaped him, he realized he'd meant them. The hardened businessman, the self-proclaimed lone wolf, had found himself tangled up in feelings he never intended to feel. She had slipped past his defenses, and he could only watch helplessly as she struggled for life. Suddenly, he felt a slight squeeze. His heart stopped. Was it his imagination? Had she actually moved? "Luna?" he whispered, hope flickering like a fragile candle. Her eyelids fluttered, and slowly, painfully, she opened her eyes. They were glazed with pain, but clear enough to meet his gaze. "Bill," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. A wave of relief washed over him. "I'm here, Luna. I'm not going anywhere." She tried to smile but winced in pain. I thought I was gone." He held her hand tighter, as if his grip alone could anchor her to the world. "Not a chance. You're stronger than that. You're going to pull through this, I know you will." A tear slipped down her cheek. They said no one was coming. I thought I was alone." His heart twisted, and he felt an overwhelming urge to protect her, to never let her feel abandoned again. "You're not alone, Luna. You never were." They sat in silence, words unnecessary as they shared the depth of emotions that had surged between them. Bill knew then that his feelings for Luna went beyond mere sympathy. She had come into his life like a tempest, challenging him, pushing him to feel more deeply than he had in years. "I thought I lost you," he finally whispered. She smiled, a faint but genuine smile. "I'm still here." The doctor entered, breaking the moment with a cough. "Mr. Spencer, I must insist you leave for now. Miss Luna needs her rest." Bill nodded, but as he stood, he looked back at Luna, his gaze lingering. "I'll be back. Just rest." Outside, Ridge and Katie waited, concern etched on their faces. Bill met their gazes, his expression fierce with newfound determination. "She's going to make it." Ridge gave a slight nod. "I hope so, for both your sakes." Katie offered a faint smile. "Maybe this is a sign, Bill. A second chance for both of you." As Bill walked down the hall, he felt something shift within him. The storm of emotions that had gripped him since Luna's hospitalization had quieted, replaced by a calm resolve. He didn't know what the future held, but he knew one thing. He would fight for her, just as she had fought to survive. And perhaps, in saving her, he might find redemption for himself.